So welcome to this week's Common Constitutionalist video podcast, coming to you on location at General Stark Park. General John Stark was a hero of the Revolutionary War. At my 3 o'clock is a huge granite monument of him on horseback. It's pretty awesome. And at my 4:30, 5 o'clock is his actual grave site. So good on you, General Stark. Anyway, so today I've got three articles I think I'm going to try and get through. First is one from IBD about federal government spending, and who doesn't like that topic? What a fun topic. Second one is from the Daily Mail, because once again, what podcast would be complete without at least a little note from the Daily Mail. And the third is from the Blaze about a marijuana town in California. Where else? Today on the Common Constitutionalist.
You are listening to the Common Constitutionalist, broadcasting from an undisclosed location, free from the prying eyes of establishment black helicopters.
All right, so like I said, today's first article is from IBD. Yesterday I was watching Fox News Saturday. And they were touting the numbers in the Trump administration, and the jobs numbers were way up, and they were, and the stock market's way up, and it is, and whoop-de-doo. This is from the IBD. You ready for this? It doesn't really matter, honestly, what the job number is going to be, how far up the stock market can go, because as far up as it can go, it'll go even further south. Eventually. It's just going to happen. There's going to be a major correction, but that's not what this is about. This is about federal government spending. IBD writes, the federal government will spend over $4 trillion in the current fiscal year. That's more than twice as much as it spent in 2000 and more than 3 times as much as it spent in 1990. The U.S. population has increased by only 30% since 1990. So basically, it's gone up, spending has gone up 300%, where we've only grown the population by 30%. Well, that makes perfect sense, I suppose, if you're going to live in a welfare state, and welcome to it. With spending having increased nearly 8 times faster than the population, proposals to reduce spending could be considered quite reasonable. Yeah, you would think they'd be reasonable, unless you want to spend us into oblivion like everybody seems to think they want to do. Democrats, Republicans, everyone. The media headlines say otherwise. However, if you look at the fine print, you'd see that the alleged draconian cuts, here we go. How many times have I talked about this crap, draconian cuts, don't actually reduce spending at all. And that's because of federal, here we go, with a broken record. Put on your record and break it and just keep playing it, just skips and skips and skips. Here we go. A federal spending cut is not a spending cut. I don't know how many times I have to explain this in how many different articles. It's completely ridiculous, but that's just the way it is. What they do is they use baseline budgeting, where the budget increases automatically every year no matter what. If you decide to decrease the amount of increase, then that's a budget cut. So instead of a 10% increase, you get an 8% increase. That is supposed to be a 2% budget cut. Well, it's not, of course. It's an 8% budget increase. But that's the way it works for the feds. And that's why no matter how many times somebody says that we've cut the budget, you've not cut the budget. You might have cut it slightly, the growth in spending. That's it. That's all it is. It's a big freaking lie. Consider President Trump's budget proposal released earlier this year. Over the last 10 years, total federal spending has increased by 49%. The president's proposed budget for increasing it by another 41% over the next 10 years. So there's no budget cuts under the Trump budget. It's going to increase the budget by another 41% over the next 10 years. How is this draconian? It's so backwards. It's unbelievable. Much ado has been made about Trump's large proposed cuts to Medicaid. Remember this? Cut and slash Medicaid. Oh, people are going to be in the streets dying. Nancy Pelosi, all these Democrats weeping and wailing. Chuck Schumer, he's going to kill all the poor and they leave them dying in the streets. Where are we? In fact, Trump's proposed increases, he increases spending by 82%. From $378 billion just for Medicaid. Actually, it's actually more than that. Particularly, they don't count the states ponying up over $150 billion, but that's a minor issue. Let me start again. In fact, he proposed increasing spending by 82% from $378 billion in 2017 to $688 billion. Well over almost $750 billion by 2017 for one government program. Social Security spending would go up by 83%. Medicare spending would more than double at 102%. Isn't that just wonderful? And these are budget cuts, okay? And they are in fact decreases of the increases. They're trimming the increases. So imagine if others got their way, the moderate establishment Republicans and the Democrats, if they got their way, just how bad it would be. This is bad enough. Think about how bad it would be. So Trump's budget proposal will add an additional $1.6 trillion to the bottom line spending by 2027 alone. Meanwhile, the quote-unquote conservative Republicans, well, they're not quite as drastic as that. They're only proposing a $1.3 trillion increase, which is a 32% increase instead of 41%. So, hooray for the Republicans! Way to trim that fat. Can you believe this crap? Yeah, you should be able. You should believe it by now, because again, as I said, I think it was last week. The Daniel Horowitz article that I referenced from Conservative Review, there's not a dime's worth of difference between Republicans and Democrats anymore. It's just a question of we're going to get to Armageddon on a freight train or a supersonic jet. Take your pick. We're getting to Armageddon one way or the other. It's just going to be with the Republicans on a train, or on the supersonic, or maybe the supersonic version, the bullet train, with the Democrats. That's the only difference, folks. It's just a matter of when, not if. The House Republican plan would increase Social Security spending by 78% and Medicare by 76%. So, boy, that's a real trim, because the other would be 83% and 102%. So, man, those Republicans there are getting tough. Such mandatory programs, which are essentially on autopilot, and they've always been on autopilot. Remember, the third rail of politics, you never talk about this stuff, because it's going to kill the elderly and the needy, and women and blacks will be hurt most, or something. I don't know what it is. Such mandatory programs, which are essentially on autopilot in the annual federal budget process, represent nearly 2/3 of the federal budget. So basically 2/3 of the federal budget are redistributive giveaways. There you go. And any effort to scale back the size of the federal budget cannot include such large entitlement spending increases. You're right, but no one's making an effort to scale back the size of the federal budget, or the size of the federal government, or any other thing. One bright spot, I guess if you could call a bright spot in a black hole, in the House Republicans' proposal, discretionary programs which face a vote every year would actually see lower spending in 2027. The reduction, remember, we've been talking about trillions and hundreds of billions, mega hundreds of billions of dollars. The reduction, $18 billion reduction. In a $4 trillion budget, that is not even a rounding error, folks. Okay, that'd be like taking you make 100 grand and you take a $5 out and you just throw it over the railing over here, and it's gone forever. That's how much it's going to hurt you. It ain't going to hurt at all. You're not even going to see it. And frankly, it probably ain't going to be there anyway. But still, still the Dems and the leftist media are still going to pillory the Republicans over this piddly blank nonsense. It just, because it's all a political issue. Whatever will gain you political advantage, that's what you're going to do. It's all politics, it's all about elections, it's all about getting reelected. That's all it's ever going to be about until things change around Washington. I'm not holding my breath, folks. So, IBD continues regarding the leftist press. What do the headlines say about this budget that increases spending more than 4 times faster than expected population growth? The Washington Post, that's just so silly, it's ridiculous. The Washington Post says, quote, House GOP unveils budget plan that attaches major spending cuts to coming tax overhaul bill, unquote. Yes, yeah. ABC News. House Republicans release 2018 budget blueprint, which would slash with a machete. Social programs. Yes, indeed. There's zero honesty left in the press and in Washington. And any of the politicians, nobody's honest anymore. Nobody will give you an honest accounting. That's all I'm trying to do here. I'm not trying to bash the Dems, I'm not trying to bash the Republicans, and I'm not trying to bash Trump. I'm trying to give you an honest accounting of what is actually going on here, and everybody's selling America a bill of bullcrap, a bill of goods. That's all it is, and it's just a bunch of talking point nonsense. Nothing's ever going to get done. Can I say Article 5 Convention of States? Hey, look, I'm in a revolutionary park. Yeah, I think I can say that, because that's the only thing that's going to save us. Crunch it. I'm too angry to continue with this anyway, so the heck with it. Let's take a break. Be right back for something maybe a little lighter than this. Actually, it's going to be a lot lighter than this. Be right back.
You're listening to The Common Constitutionalist. Let the truth be known.
All right, I am back and feeling better. And it's the reason why I'm in this gazebo, and it is wonderful. They actually play, they have big bands here during the summer every weekend, or it's one of the weekend days. And they have, the whole park is filled with people, and they have a big band up here playing in the gazebo, and it's pretty cool. I mean, I like big band music as much as the rest. Kind of enjoy it, and but to see it in this atmosphere, it's pretty neat. But I digress, as is my wont. This is from the Daily Mail, and this is actually pretty neat. If you've never seen a picture of this, you need to go online, and I'll tell you what to Google here in a minute. A Chinese motoring giant is hoping to revolutionize, the Daily Mail, like I said. A Chinese motorized, start over again, shall we? A Chinese motoring giant is hoping to revolutionize the way people buy cars by launching automotive vending machines across the country this year. Again, if you've never seen this, it is cool. It is a humongous tower. It looks like a big vending machine, and it's just a big square building. Goes up, I don't know, 15, 20 flights, and at every flight, and it's completely glass encased in the front. And just like when you go to a vending machine and you look at the chips and the pretzels and the candy bars and stuff, and you can see them there, these things are on elevator pads, and they're suspended on these floors, and you can see which car, and you go up there and you pick out a car, and I'll go over the finances here in a minute, and they move it back onto an elevator, bring it down, and you sign away after you've agreed to certain things, and you drive the car away. You just pick it out like you'd pick out a bag of pretzels. It is so cool, I can't even believe it. I don't know if it's going to catch on, but it's pretty neat. So anyway, Alibaba, the big online site, claims the move will make purchasing a vehicle as easy as buying a can of Coke. Yep. Under the plans, a customer would select a model of their on their mobile phone and pay a 10% initial fee before driving off with the vehicle. Now, 10% doesn't sound much until you start looking at some of these vehicles, Ferraris and Lamborghinis and the like. You put 10% down on a $800,000 car, that's a good chunk of change, bro. Okay, anyway, once the initial fee is paid, the company says it will just take a couple of minutes for a car to be moved down the tower. In order to make a purchase, customers need a credit score of more than 750 on Sesame Credit, China Daily Sesame Oil Credit. That's not too racist or anything, is it? But hey, it ain't. Don't shoot the messenger here, gang. Then they will make monthly payments until the value of the vehicle is paid off or until it's repossessed and they put it back in the tower again. The company has said that there's been good reaction to the move, with the general manager, Gary Hong, saying that there has been a 30% rise in sales, the Financial Times reports. It will be the first such vending machine in China. Really? Although a similar structure has been operating in Singapore since last December. Mr. Hong said, no, I'm going to refrain from what I was going to do. That wouldn't be right. Oh yeah, okay. Now I'll just do it the way I was going to. Okay. The cars always appear in their best light because of the spotlighting. It's going to be like a jewelry shop or an Apple store. On steroids, brother. Some details, including how cars will be legally registered, have yet to be confirmed. That's pretty neat. So you Google China car tower, something to that effect, and you can see, go to images and you'll see a picture of this thing, and it's just this massive structure with two cars side by side going up 15 stories or so, and you just say, I want that one. You transfer the money, maybe from your iPhone or whatever, and sign the paperwork, drive away. Easy as that. Awesome, baby. Be right back.
You're listening to the Common Constitutionalist. Let the truth be known.
All right, and in our final segment today on the Common Constitutionalist video podcast, this is from The Blaze. Phoenix-based American Green Inc. on Thursday, just this past Thursday, announced its $5 million purchase of Nipton, California, a ghost town along the California-Nevada border. The small town sits on Interstate 15, the primary route between Los Angeles and Las Vegas, and has a permanent population of 6. 6 people live in this ghost town. So this company, American Green Inc., is buying an entire town. Now the town isn't that big. 6 people, how big does it have to be? Nipton is known for its small hotel that's reminiscent of the Old West and its roots connected to the gold rush. The purchase includes 80 acres that make up the town and an additional 40 acres that lay outside the city limits. The town has also, I'm getting to a point here, folks. The town also has a trading post, yeehaw, general store, woohoo, and RV park, okay, all of which are included in the transaction. So this company is buying a whole town. Why are they buying a whole town? American Green Inc.? Maybe they're a solar company. Maybe they're a windmill company. Maybe not. Currently, the town's primary source of income is from the California lottery. Nevadans come to the general store to purchase lottery tickets, CNBC reported. American Green is hoping to change that by revitalizing the town with a cannabis-friendly hospitality destination. Yes, American Green isn't an environmental company. It's a marijuana company. That's what they do. They sell pot to stoners. And they're gonna buy a whole town and turn it into Stonerville. Great. What a deal. Oh, where else but California could you do this? I mean, where else would you even think of doing something like this? We are excited to lead the charge for a true green rush. David, I guess it's Gwyther, American Green's president and CEO said in a statement, U.S. News and World Report reported, quote, the cannabis revolution that's going on here in the U.S. has the power to completely revitalize communities in the same way gold did in the 19th century. There's only one thing about that. Gold is a good investment. It'll last forever. It's a good hedge on inflation, and you can't get high, stoned, or be a worthless piece of crap when you own gold. I suppose you still could be a worthless piece of crap. You'd just be a wealthy, worthless piece of crap. It's just California, man. You gotta love them. You know how they, it's the Calex thing, or Calzic, or what is it? They have the Brexit, and then they have the Calzit, yeah, whatever. Where they want to secede from the Union, and all the conventional wisdom is that we shouldn't let them. For their own good, we shouldn't let them. I got to tell you, I think they're so bloody far gone that in 10 years, they'd be begging us back in again. 10 years. They'd be so broke, they'd be it would just be an annex of Mexico by that time anyway, so whatever. MS-13, the governor would be part of MS-13 by that time. Any rate, American Green envisions a full-on paradise for Californians and Nevadans who want to partake in the use of medical marijuana. No, it just ain't medical marijuana. It's recreational marijuana, shall we say. The company envisions multiple dispensaries, edibles shops, and tours of marijuana farms. Wow, that's exciting, huh? We can watch the grass grow, too. That would be great. American Green also envisions selling CBD infused water and CBD baths and mineral baths. CBD, the oils from cannabis, are legal to sell in most states and removes the high that is often associated with the drug. Isn't that fabulous? The company is prepared to invest an additional $2.5 million in solar panels, so they are green, which would allow them to go 100% off the grid until it clouds up or rains, and then what the heck are they going to do? USA Today reported, according to the company, the panels would be used to help offset the cost of producing and growing the drug. So that's not right, because it would allow them to go 100% off the grid, and then the very next sentence said it would offset the cost of producing and growing the drug. So which one is it? Is it going to offset, or is it going to be 100%? Details. Although marijuana is still illegal at the federal level, both California and Nevada have made recreational use legal. Yay. The company would require, and again, let me finish this sentence here. The company would be required to follow all Golden State's marijuana laws and regulations. Do they have any? I don't think so at this point. Relative to every other state in the union, probably none. I'm not big on government regulation, as you probably have guessed. There's way too much government regulation. There certainly is way too much federal regulation. There should be almost no federal regulation. All of this stuff should be left to the states. So if you want to legalize, frankly, every drug in the world on a state level, you should be able to do that on a state level. States are the laboratory of the nation. If you want to do that and completely ruin your state, you knock yourself out. It's your state. Me as a citizen of the state, I have the option, because I don't live in Europe or Asia or somewhere, and where countries abut each other, all the states are just adjacent to one another, I can just move to another state, worst case scenario. So I don't have to stay. If you've ruined my state, I don't have to stay. I can go to one that's more conducive to my liking. But but again, drugs, as we've seen with the opioid, the fentanyl, the heroin, the crack, and everything else, it's killing people what is it, like 40,000 people a year die from overdose alone, and not to mention the mental illness, the hospitalization, all that other crap, all the stuff that the cops have to carry around now. It's completely absurd. And don't fool yourself, all you stoners out there, or recreational pot users. Pot is a gateway drug for a lot of people. It may not be a gateway drug for you because maybe you've got a little willpower, and maybe you've got a little self-control, and maybe you're not an obsessive personality, compulsive personality. But there are a lot of people out there that start with marijuana that do have these personality defects. It magnifies them, and then they move on to something a little stronger once their body gets used to the high of marijuana. That's the way it works. So if California wants to ruin themselves and do this, you knock yourself out, leave me out of it. If you want to turn whole towns into, what the heck did they say here, cannabis-friendly recreational destinations? What do they call those things? A cannabis-friendly hospitality destination? Well, knock your socks off and sit around and lay around and eat Doritos and drink coffee and smoke dope. I don't give a rat's. So this is the common constitutionalist signing off once again on location out here in Stark Park, and I really, really like this. It's nice because it's actually raining outside, so there's nobody in the park but me, so I have it quiet all to myself, and it's fabulous. We'll see you next week, one way or the other, inside, outside, wherever. That's it. I'm out.
Thank you for listening to the Common Constitutionalist Weekly Podcast.